Happy day to everybody. How are you all doing out there? My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is Skywire. And as always, I am so delighted to see you all here, or for you to see me here. I'm not seeing you, but I know you're out there. I know you're joining us. I know you're learning about this thing we call listening with us. You're traveling with us on this journey, and I appreciate it. And I know your time is valuable and precious. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Whether you're tuning in live or you're tuning in via YouTube or wherever you are, we are so delighted and grateful and honored that you've chosen to be here with us. So each and every week we come together, we pick a topic of something that involves our listening, our tuning in, our perception, our awareness to life and all that goes around us, whether it's common everyday things or the surreal things. We tune in our listening. And one of the interesting things about listening is that you think it's about maybe just communicating with somebody else, how you listen to this, how you listen to that, but it is so much more than that. It's about taking your life to the deepest levels of life. And it's even about going places that you're completely unaware of. And you just listen, and then listening takes you on this magic carpet ride. And that's where it took me this week with this word surreal. And I don't use the word surreal that often, nor do I even realize, sometimes maybe in slang I might say, well, this was surreal, or, well, that was surreal. But today, it took me to a place that I really felt, this is an interesting thing that I'm hearing. Let me take my listening to another level with what might come up.
In the moment when she talked about what might come up, she disappeared.
Yeah, she said that she was having internet problems today, and we should get ready.
The coming up is still bubbling up, so we will wait, and we have 10 minutes until Google will shut us down.
We're getting used to this.
We are getting used to that, yeah.
Why? Has it been happening to you?
Yesterday it was shutting down, but it was because of my computer. It had too much, not enough space. The cache, I had to empty the cache, and it's better now, much better now. Yeah. So we see her still, but she's gone.
Yeah.
I think she is in a surreal moment here.
Yeah.
And needs to go and discover more memories
about
or
surreal
impulses about that.
Actually, the way she's down there in the film strip, I feel like she's haunting us a little bit.
Oh, now she's
gone. Oh, she's gone now.
She just went out. She'll probably come back in. But now she's having like a field trip in surrealism. So she can come back and report to us.
Yes. Yes, something is more than real going on here.
Right.
Well, that's really great because we will have a story from her point of view about surreal right now.
She said, surreal life here. Husband, I'm okay, one day at a time. If I in need of a person or group, just... Oh no, this is Elaine. This is not Marilyn, because we're having Elaine. And she's back, Marilyn. At least the photo is here, and we have a surreal life in the meantime.
All right. I have a feeling that if we were really, really right here, right now, every moment, it would be surreal all the time.
I do think so. Yeah.
Because those surreal moments I've had have just been times when things were magnified and intensified to such a great degree, that it was like, oh, I'm seeing for the first time.
And maybe this is reality. I wanted to say, when it was my turn, we first have to see what reality is, to know what reality is. Oh, now she is in twice. Marilyn, you are double.
Now she's in twice.
No, double Marilyn. Boom, boom.
That's surreal.
What can be better than two of me?
No problem. Let her there. This is your alter ego which is watching you.
This has been really surreal, I have to say.
Yes.
What did I miss? Anything?
No, report back to us. You were in the
Well,
land of surrealism.
Well, I was, and it started, and it's been crazy since since this topic came to me. Did you hear anything I said?
Yeah, at the beginning, yes.
Okay.
At the beginning, yes.
Okay, so all I'm saying is that, I never played with the word surreal before. And then all of a sudden, oh my, okay.
Now you're now I hear it.
Oh,
She is arrived in reality.
Bo, 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 bo.
now you're going to hear me twice.
No, it's
No,
okay.
it's fine.
All right. So this word surreal came to me. And I don't know how. It just all of a sudden, and I hear myself, and I don't know what to do about it.
The surreality has taken you over.
No, I'm zapping. Okay, so I hear it echo.
Yep, yep.
We do not.
You don't.
I don't know if it's us, but we can do our best.
Let's try it.
Yeah,
All right.
but I think it has to do with
This is pretty
indoors.
surreal, wouldn't you say? When you say this is surreal?
Everybody's echoing.
You know, we are doing a practical demonstration of surreality.
Exactly.
And talking
Okay.
in tongues.
I mean, everybody is doing it. Margarita, can you speak?
Yes, I think that we have an amazing opportunity to discover which voice inside our mind we really need to listen to. Wow. Now I only hear myself.
Yeah, now you only hear one time.
I'm afraid to talk. Oh, there it is. All right. What I was saying is, when we come up, when I am going through my week, and I'm listening for life and all the things that go on, and I'm also listening for an indication of what the show should be about. And this week, the word surreal came up, and I don't play with the word surreal that often, except on rare occasions when something weird happens, and then I go, wow, that was surreal. But really, what is surreal? So this morning, I'm doing my hair, drying, just getting it ready to be blown, since it was all curly from last night working out. And I'm in the process of it's not wet. I do it like that every morning. I'm getting ready to dry it. All of a sudden, I start to think about a way of explaining listening, primarily for my book that I'm writing, about what happens with our emotion and our actions and our creativity about listening, something I hadn't thought about before. And all of a sudden, my hair got full of electricity. And I still have pieces of it, like it was like going up on both sides, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it down. I put water on it. I took a flattening iron. It would not go down. And I'm like, wow, this is surreal. So surreal seems to be, I think, out of the ordinary, out of the norm of how we live. But it is still part of our life, and it is still telling us something. And of course, we before we actually went live, we were talking a little bit about Dolly, who's one of my favorite artists. So there is all of this concept, and I'm so curious to hear what you all have to say about your concept of surreal, how we live with surreal. I mean, surreal, maybe, I mean, I don't know, life is just surreal, period. So, I mean, I'm opening it up for discussion. So who wants to start? Go ahead, Margarita.
Yeah, I think that this physical reality, and this is supported by many spiritual traditions too, that's the illusion. That's the what physical reality, what we have, that is what we think it is. And so when we think it is the physical things, you scrape your knee and you get an extra big bill this month or something like that, that's what we think is real. But in essence, what exactly is real is the surreal, because we come from somewhere Our mind comes from somewhere, our thoughts comes from somewhere, and it doesn't originate in the physical reality. We think it does, but I don't think it does. And so that inspiration, let's say, the divine, spirits, and those unexplained things that are actually going on every day. Some people don't see them, but you know there's fairy tales and stories that actually emphasizes that. And it's been going on for centuries, and ever since the human consciousness developed into stories about all of these things. And so the surreal is trying to get through. And those who experience surreal, like Dali, the painter, or any other artist, they can tune into that level and then give us stories or images so that we can be inspired. This is how I think it is.
Okay. I would like to say, I agree, Margarita. At the end is that, but I wouldn't go so far. I think surreal begins already when something is out of our normal way of perception, our normal way of thinking and seeing. And for many people, when something is different than they normally see, then they say it's surreal. Because they have a very, normally we all have a very, how do you say, a very consensual idea of what real is. And real life is real life, even the bills, you know, and the sun and the heat, this is real life. It is not an illusion. It is there. But as soon as something comes up which is not fitting our habits of perception, our habits of thinking and feeling, then we say it is surreal. And actually, this is another thing I want to bring up, what we dream, which is going towards the spiritual, but it's one level to go towards what you are saying, Margarita. This often we perceive as surreal, but we live it as real in dreams. So just to put in these two things.
Yeah, I mean, I respect your view of this, but if you go in, for example, I'm not going to argue the fact that there is reality that's physical, right? Because that exists. But if you listen to some of the scientists who, for example, like Einstein or the quantum scientists that discover all of those particles inside of the atom, and they find that there is really no thing that's reality of physicality, because it's made up of emptiness, basic emptiness. Can I express it like that? And of course,
this is okay. This is okay. I don't negate this. I was saying there are different levels of reality. Let's say that we like to talk in levels, you know, and so
me too.
I agree with you.
You were talking, let's say, of the ultimate level, and I began in the ground zero, sort of.
Yeah, but we'll have a little line like here, right? So this is one extremes. Okay, you can live in the hell realm, or you can live in the paradise, still being physical, right? But if you're going to come to the middle here, then all of those extremes disappear. And that's what the spiritual teachers and gurus talk about, that there is a complete different dimension where everything originating in. So the mind of God, let's say. I don't know the concept of God, but I can say the mind of God can maybe be in that point where no physicality at all is. It's just the pure conscious thought. What do you say, Gail, about that?
Well, I really agreed with, or not agreed, but I really resonated with what you began to start talking about, because when I think of, like, take synchronicities, for example, when you just show up in the right place and the right time, in a sense, synchronicities seem surreal, but it's really just, it's the most, it's the most real you can really be, because you're really tapping into the, like, that flow of life, you know. But we don't always see that. So that, to me, that was kind of pointing to what you were saying before, Margarita, that we don't really see what's really real. I think we get glimpses of it, and then we think it's surreal, but it really is real, you know. I mean, you just think that, you know, you walk across the room and you look across the room and you see your soulmate there. You know, you recognize them as your soulmate. Or you're driving around and all of a sudden, like, there's no parking spaces, but all of a sudden there's a parking space for you. That seems so surreal, but that's the most real it gets, because that's when you're really, like, in the flow of life and like are seeing what is real. I don't think we see what's real most of the time. So that's what I would say.
We are perfect in finding parking spaces, even on last notice. Today, when I went to the hospital, really, we were entering the area and said, oh, we have forgotten to order a parking space. Tuck, there it was.
But doesn't it seem surreal? You know what I'm saying? Those things don't, you think, well, that doesn't normally happen. But when you get into that flow and you tap into to what's real, that to me is real. It's so, see, this is what you were saying, Margarita. It's almost like what you think is surreal is really real, and what you think is real is really just, a lot of times we're just sleepwalking, you know.
Well, that's very true. Most of us are sleepwalking. We just experience our life from the past events. We don't see what's happening in the moment.
I see what's happening in the moment. If Marilyn doesn't come back soon, we will be shut off. So I think we better say our last words.
Oh.